What's up, guys? I'm back here with another video for you. Today I'm going for a vinyl update. You guys might have noticed that I haven't done one of these in quite a long time. I just don't particularly prioritize buying LPs, but I've been a little bit more enamored with it lately because I have this new room where everything is really accessible because I built a new shelf and the setup is a little more easy to get to. So I've been buying more LPs, and this is just an accumulation of records that have come in over the past year that's going to be put into 5 or 6 parts. So I'm just going to cut into it because there's some cool stuff in here I want to show you guys. Before we start yammering on, we're listening to Idodin by the band Skogen. If you guys aren't familiar with Skogen, they're a great Swedish black metal band. Just really straight up, but in the very 90s style. I would akin it to maybe, I don't know, some of the more of the atmospheric style of the late 90s. Just really all around rock solid stuff. Check out Skogen if you guys have not. If you haven't, you're missing out. Not a beer today, but this is a Gosling's ginger beer. This is kind of like what I drink when I am in the mood for something that's just not like a glass of iced tea or like a can of pop. And I don't want a beer, so no Nostrovia, which doesn't apply here, but whatever. Alright, we're going to start off with some new wave of British heavy metal with Raven. This is the album Wiped Out. I've been wanting to get a copy of some Raven material for a good long while, and I picked this up pretty cheap somewhere. So I've really been prioritizing buying new wave of British heavy metal stuff on LP. I think it's very cool. Here's the back cover. Really cool. I appreciate the collage look of the 80s. I feel as if it is a lost art, of which people do sometimes still do. Really odd inner sleeve. So it's an electro inner sleeve, so they have a wide array of stuff. So the other side is just chock full of things that I don't think most Raven fans would be interested in. I mean, the Doors are cool, and Eddie Rabbit and Queen, but I don't know, kind of weird. But like I said, electro pressing, really cool. Neat records. Labels, I think those are very cool. There we go, there's a better view of it. Looks really good. Just classic black vinyl. If you guys aren't familiar with this band, this is their second album from '82, and they're kind of the heavier side of the new wave of British heavy metal, which is something I appreciate. It's got a lot more of a speed metal tinge to it, a lot more aggression. And for '82 in particular, this was very heavy for its day. But yeah, if you like the more speedy style of the 1980s, I think you would get down with this Raven album. But I'm sure if you're into this kind of stuff, I'm sure you already know Raven. I mean, I'm not putting you up on anything new, but if you do want to dive more into the new wave of British heavy metal, I would say this is like a second tier in the iceberg kind of band. Raven, really cool. Next, some black metal. I bought this when it came out. I just never talked about it because I only got the LP variant, which is the newest Panopticon, The Rime of Memory. Really top shelf album. Interesting album artwork. This kind of superimposed silhouettes of 2 ravens on there is kind of cool. And I like this photo a lot. Really pretty. I'm sure that his wife took it. That would just be a guess, though. So let's yank it out. Here's the back cover, binder and pressing, obviously. Super embossed logo, sigil kind of thing right there. I don't remember exactly what that's called. Really cool inside here. There's the full Raven look there. It looks really good. I would highly recommend checking this album out. Vinyl variant's really cool as well. Kind of like this semi-translucent white and clear marble, which I really like, because white and clear are 2 of my favorite vinyl variants. And here is this. There you go. Really nice A-side label as well. I gotta show you the other 2 labels as well. There we go. Yeah, so this is just like a continual transition in this band's style. This band never ceases to amaze me with how Austin is so capable to continually progress his style to the point of like transcending black metal to an extent. There's an obvious black metal backbone in all of the Panopticon material. No matter how out there he kind of gets, there tends to be a pretty obvious black metal backbone. But this just has so many elements of so many different kinds of metal in it. I truly, truly love this band because of that, and just because the consistent quality of Panopticon releases is just something I find really admirable. So I'll call that at that Panopticon album. Next is an album I talked about in my last CD update, and I picked up this OG press of it, which is Master's Command by Sacred Warrior. Great stuff. I don't want to talk too crazily about it, but I do got to show you that. Banging album cover. Always love it. Super flimsy sleeve. Really, really cool. Christian kind of power metal, proto power metal, somewhere in that area, you know, the kind of power metal, kind of heavy metal, progressive style. And if you guys have ever seen this guy's face floating around the metal sphere, his name's Pastor Bob something. I don't know, Pastor Bob Beeman. So I've seen videos of him talking about metal before, and he was kind of at the heart of this like California metal scene, Christian metal scene in like the late 80s, out on Frontline, black vinyl variants. And he just like has a little spiel on the back of the pressings of this album, which is interesting if you guys have never seen his videos. I've watched a handful of them here and there. Not a ton, but this is a great album. I akined it quite a bit to Sabotage in my previous mentions of this album, and I've just grown to really, really like this album. It's just really well put together. Particularly the opening track is something that is a great catcher of attention, and I would highly recommend it to any fans of 80s metal, man. There's no way around loving something that sounds like this as far as I'm concerned. If you're truly interested in the style, I would highly recommend Sacred Warrior and the album Master's Command. Next, something I picked up somewhat on impulse. This is Phantom Lord with the album Phantom Lord. So this is the first album from this like pseudo project, sort of. It's really good. I kind of really like the simplicity of this album cover. I don't exactly understand what the concept of this band was. Apparently it's like a bunch of like session musicians that made like a joke album that was trying to like start the new trend of metal. I don't exactly know how to describe it. Something goofy like that. I don't remember, but I would look into it yourself. But regardless of backstories, it's just a black vinyl, by the way. Looks really good, newer pressing. It kind of sounds like the early Bay Area speed metal, sort of heavy metal style, somewhere like Trauma, maybe, if you guys know Trauma. Griffin, things like that, even though Griffin's not a California band. I know Trauma is for sure. Like I said, 85, it really has like a No Life Till Leather Metallica demo style to it, which I find pretty cool because there's not a lot of things that kind of sound that akin to that era of Metallica that really kind of capture the style. But regardless, I would recommend this to any fans of stuff like that. Phantom Lord, very good. Next, again, some more New Wave of British heavy metal. This is Power and Glory. Power and the Glory by Saxon. I'm a big fan of Saxon, and I've just been kind of picking it up wherever I can, and luckily, Saxon is not the hardest thing to actually find good pressings of. I picked this up at a store down in Illinois when I was down there to go to a doctor's visit or something like that. Great record. It's their fifth album from 1983. So that's pretty crazy that they're already 5 records deep. I don't remember which press exactly this is, but it's a carrier press. where it is in the chronology. I'm pretty sure it's an older press. This album is really, really good. It's just kind of Saxon being Saxon, but you know, Saxon kind of has some styles that are in between a couple of general sounds, which is like the traditional metal, and then they have stuff that's a little faster and more aggressive than maybe just like the heavier side of traditional metal, and then they have stuff that's more on the hard rock side of things. I feel like they have a similar trajectory to bands like Riot, but I think Riot got heavier than Saxon really ever got. But really cool new wave of British heavy metal stuff, well worth your time, and a classic amongst classics in this general style. Next, something I'm still a little on the fence about, but nonetheless I feel like I need to show it because I do have it. Variations on a Theme by NWOBHM. This is like a drone stoner metal album, not really my style, but I've always wanted to like this band, and I do occasionally like a little bit of Sleep here and there. And obviously this is what's his name from Sleep, Al from Sleep, his like side band or something, however you want to describe it. Show you the inner there. It's just like a gray sky with lyrics. But yeah, it's stoner, really droning, really like the same song over and over and over again, which is really something that I have to be in the mood for. It's out on Holy Mountain, which is cool because obviously that label is probably named after the Sleep song, an album, I guess you should probably say. But yeah, it's just constant like background noise basically is what this kind of stuff is for me, which is cool. It has its place occasionally, and I'm not going to get rid of it, but I'm not going to play it very often. I could basically guarantee you that currently, but whatever. NWOBHM's cool. Next, a little bit of German heavy metal. This was like a random pull purchase with the band Bullet, and the album's called No Mercy. This is just greaseball friggin' heavy metal, dude. It's everything you expect out of greaseball heavy metal. I'll show you the back of it too there. Great photo of the band there. I really like that. Yeah, that is friggin' heavy metal, dude. You got to get the white leopard, snow leopard pants. Heck yeah. This is in an Arista pressing. Really good shape. Picked this up used at the same shop down in Illinois as I got the Saxon LP. I go there occasionally. The guy who owns it is like a punk who also has an affinity for like classic metal and just like classic metal stuff in general. You're going to see a good handful of stuff that I've bought from them throughout this. But this is a really good kind of hard rock, heavy metal album, somewhere in that area. I would reckon it's similar to the Scorpions, not just because they're German, but stylistically they're very similar to the Scorpions. It's fun, it's sleazy, it's kind of just distasteful in a manner of which metal from this era really can do well, I think. Bullet's a cool album. Check this out if you haven't, if you're into that kind of stuff. Alright, and then one last album here. One more new wave of British heavy metal album. It's Peace of Mind by Iron Maiden. I feel like I don't need to talk a lot about this, but I can sit here and jibber jabber just a bit. I feel like it's not going to hurt anybody. Great album. Second album with Bruce. Fourth album total in the band's catalog. You guys know this, man. It's a classic. Really cool band photo. Another really, really great one. And then just some lyrics on the back. This is an older pressing, and it is this nasty friggin' label of like brains with like carrots and green beans and cauliflower and cabbage and potatoes. Yeah, just a classic album in the Iron Maiden catalog. Every song on here is just top shelf. I don't exactly know what would be the general consensus of the best song on here. Probably The Trooper's like the most famous, but I would probably venture to say that Die With Your Boots On is my favorite song on here. Where Eagles Dare is also a classic song on this album. But, you know, you guys have heard this, I don't know how many times at this point. I'm sure most of you guys have heard this 1,000,000 times, and I hope to continue playing it because now I have a vinyl variant as well as the CD variant. Just great album. So I'm going to call it at that, y'all. I don't want to make these videos too long, and with vinyl, it's mostly showing off the album itself as opposed to like jibber-jabbering about the music too much as far as I'm concerned. I don't know why I keep saying jibber-jabbering, but whatever. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I should be back next week, but no promises. But yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Keep it greasy.